introduce you to the amazing Joan Sabinski, who has been an intuitive counselor for many decades, working with thousands of clients all across the world. And I've asked her to explain some of the services that she has available to share with all of us. So hello, Jonee.
Hi there, Thea. I'm glad to be here today. And which one would you like me to start with?
Well,
because I do many.
I see the bread and butter part of your work as the one-on-one intuitive work you do, your usually hour-long reading. So tell us what you have available there and what is a reading?
Well, what a reading is in my situation, what I consider a reading to be is I contact your guides and your guides show me what they think you need to know right now. Now, they'll also go into the people in your life, the situations in your life, and depending upon what you're looking for, they might ask questions. They may give me information about past life situations that are currently affecting what you're doing now. They may even talk a bit about what your path is in this life. Now, because I'm also an astrologer and a numerologist as well as a channel, I include astrology and numerology. Astrology primarily because astrology can help me very, very strongly with timing. The guides live in a plane of existence where time is irrelevant to them. And when they say to me, oh, soon, that could be 15 years. But with the help of the astrology, then I have the opportunity to pinpoint the time more exactly. Additionally, I found that I like having fail safes. And what I mean by that is if I pick something up psychically, that's what I rely on most of all. But if it also shows up in the astrology chart and it shows up in the numerology chart, then I can be pretty clear that and pretty sure that the potential for this actually manifesting is significantly stronger. I'm feeling it intensely. The guides are showing it to me. And then I also have the astrology and numerology to back up those feelings.
Now, Jonee, I'm sorry, but would you agree that not every experience, every reading has the same it has information presented in the same way? In other words, we all have different paths. We all have different karmic situations, or we're at different points in our life. Do you think it's fair to say that not everyone will have the same type or amount of information in a reading?
It all depends upon what the guides think is the most important data you need to get at this point. For some people, it may be family issues even before they know that it's family issues. To some others, it may be their work experience. To others, it could be their love life. So consequently, we each have our focus, and the guides will zoom me into what they really feel is the most essential information for you at this point in your life. Now, at the end of the reading, I do ask if there are any questions that I haven't gone over that you still would like to ask. And it's at that point, if there are any, that I fill that void. But most of the time I will ask that question and my clients will say to me, you answered all of them. Holy cow, you were dead on with what I wanted to know. So the guides, being like your best friends, your angels, they know what you're doing. They know what you're working on. So they're best suited to decide what information you need to know at this point.
Well, Jonee, because we work together so closely and I do a lot of readings with you. My mother died in August, and that's one of the most powerful things for a reading, is that you oftentimes can connect with our deceased loved ones and give messages, or in the case of when you and I work together, it's been a conversation. So do you often talk with people's deceased loved ones?
Yes, that's something I do quite frequently. Not always in the way that the loved one might anticipate, because depending upon how long they have been dead, they go through their own transitions. And so it's a great way to deal with unfinished business. It's a great way for people to get reinforced that their loved one is in a good place. If the death was a difficult one, it can often help the loved one to understand the whys and wherefores of the situation and to release any anger, any guilt. So yes, it's one of the things I love to do the most. But of course, not everyone has a deceased loved one or a deceased loved one that they need to speak with. So I cover I can't even think of an area I don't cover. If the person has an issue, I have a background in psychology. I have a background in working with substance abuse, marriage and family counseling. There isn't an area that I haven't worked with and there's nothing I can think of offhand that would turn me off so much I couldn't deal with it, because it's not me that is doing the work. It's the person's guides. And the guides know why things happen. There's no judgment.
Well, I had a good giggle with you the other day when in a reading, I asked you, well, what do you think? And you're like, well, I know what I think, but here's what the guides think. And your conversation is so natural that was a good reminder to me that you are talking through our guides, which is having that amazing, brilliant best friends who can see the whole picture, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, for people who have just one question, I do 15-minute readings. For those that have a series of questions that they just want to work on a specific group of questions, I also offer a half an hour reading. My hour readings, I really prefer. Obviously, more information can come into it. But for the specific reason of one question or maybe 4 questions, a half an hour or a 15-minute reading will suffice as well.
And people can connect with you by looking at your website, intuitivedirections.net. Your email is your name, joneesabinski@gmail.com. And you make a recording of the readings and you send that to the client who that's theirs to keep forever.
Yes, I make an audio recording of it that they will download. And if they don't download it within a month, then my computer eats it. But if they download it within a month, then it's theirs to keep for as long as they want. And I have a lot of clients that will go back and listen to some of the recordings and then call me and say, oh my God, when you told me this, it didn't make sense, and now it's all come together and I get it. So that's the reason I like to do the recordings, because so often people don't hear everything that you're actually saying to them, and then later it clicks.
And also, since the pandemic, you've started doing Zoom recordings as well too, and so that can be a video recording that you send to people. Okay, right. Well, that's the individual readings, but you have some other services as well. You have something called the Personalized Angelic Guidance Mantra. And I'll just say that's $40 a deal. Tell us what it is.
Well, it is not a situation where you need to be present. It is a situation in which I contact I hate this, the way I'm having to put this, but your main angel, all right? And that being will give me their name and what they are there to help you with, and a mantra, a sentence, a series of sentences, a word that you can say to get more clarity, to work through whatever it is that you might be working through at this particular time. They will also tell me how you can reach them if you want to at a later date. The reason that I do this is so many people have said to me, I really want to be able to reach my angels or my guides, and I can't. I have tried and I have tried and I don't know how. And so I thought to myself, well, it's easy for me to reach them. So perhaps if I do it and get the angel or guide to tell me how they can, maybe this will start the process rolling more easily. And if it doesn't, at least they're getting a mantra to help them through the period that they're in.
It's terrific. You also have something I think that came to you during the pandemic, and that's a message from your Soul Keeper guide, which is $50. And I will say, I have one of these, and it's one of the best gifts I've given myself. So tell us about it.
Well, it came upon me in a meditation that we are in very interesting, very pivotal times in our world, and that we have a purpose here, that each of us have something that we're meant to do. And most of us don't know. So many of my clients ask me, what am I doing? I feel lost. I don't know where I'm supposed to be or what I'm supposed to be doing or how I'm supposed to be doing it. And so I was told in a meditation that each of us have an angel or a guide that is sort of in charge of that knows what past lives you've lived and what you're putting together in this life in order to finish whatever work you're here to do. And that being, they dubbed for me a soul keeper. And so what I do, again, you're not present, I meditate and ask this being to come forward. He or she come forward, they give me their name or what they prefer to be called. And then they will tell me what your purpose is, what best ways there are for you to accomplish the purpose, and what might be some of the stumbling blocks or ways that that purpose does not get complete. And they also give me their names. So my belief is if you meditate, knowing their name, knowing their description, because I usually give a description if I can see the being. And if the being has a form, then I will give a description. And my hope is that you will meditate on what information you've gotten and visualize them in your mind during your meditation, and perhaps you will connect with them yourself.
Now,
So,
I know you are a huge proponent of meditation,
yes.
and I have found that a really great way to get started in that practice is to have a guided meditation. And that is another service that you offer, a personalized recorded meditation. And these are only $15. And I think this would be a very kind gift to give someone. You know, you could send them the link, you could put the recording on a flash drive. So what are these meditations about, Jonee?
Well, it was very simple. In the channelings I do the first Friday of the month and that I've done for the last 40 some years, the entities I channel do a personalized or customized meditation at the end of each of the channelings. And in my classes, I also used to do something similar, that if I was working on a class, let's say on abundance, then I would put together an abundance meditation for my class members. And it occurred to me that when I would be doing meditations, that if I used my name in the meditation, it sort of talked to me in a different way. So I decided that customizing meditations might not be a bad thing. So somebody could get in touch with me and say, I'm really working on forgiveness right now. I am having a problem forgiving my mother or my father or my sister or whomever, my best friend, my spouse, whomever. And I would really love a meditation on forgiveness and on forgiving this particular person. So then I could put together, invent, create a meditation that I use their name and the person they want to forgive. And the resonance works better. I don't know how to explain it. The meditations are approximately 15 minutes, and they can be on any topic that you want to work on. I've done weight control, I've done sleep, like I said, I've done forgiveness, I've done gratitude, anything that you can think of that one could put a meditation together for, I have put a meditation together for. And so the biggie is the use of the name. It really does make a big difference.
Well, you mentioned your channeling work. Now, maybe if you could talk about what happens on the first Friday of the month and how, again, we've grown thanks to the pandemic. Now everybody can attend.
Right. I have been doing the channeling of a group of entities that say they are combined consciousness, and we have named them Equinox. And like I said, Equinox has been coming for over 40 years to share their wisdom. And until the pandemic, we did that in sessions in my home, and the first Friday of every month. Well, after the pandemic and the closing down of many things, we decided to do it on Zoom. And so the first Friday of the month, I allow the entities to enter my body, and I am an unconscious channel, which means that which is me actually leaves the body. And on my website, I explain this a little bit more thoroughly. And then they talk and they answer personal questions and general questions. The cost of the channeling is $10 a question, and most people ask one or two. And then we also have general questions, and general questions are questions that you might wonder about, like what are soulmates? What is love? What happens when you die? Just anything of a general nature. And then the personal questions, you can ask personal questions about anybody as long as you have their permission to do so, and about any subject. And Equinox can also contact deceased loved ones and get messages. There's a myriad of things that we have done with them. And like I said, it's been once a month for almost 45 years. And it just becomes more incredible every single time. And like I said, and every single time they have ended their session with a meditation. They've never repeated a meditation. Each meditation seems to be very specific to the group that is attending the channelings. And as I have no idea who's going to be there, it makes it even more interesting to me that they can do this. It's just astonishing to me.
It is profound. And it's easy to register. We'll put that information in the video, but you can go to Jonee's website, intuitivedirections.net. Also, Equinox has their own website, channelingeq.com. You register, you pay $10. If you want to ask an additional question, there's instruction on how you can pay another $10 for that question. And we start off with the message to the world, general questions, and you can submit as many general questions as you like. Our wonderful moderator, Lynn Murphy, randomly draws the questions. We're convinced Equinox has a hand in that. Then we do the personal questions, and then, as Jonee said, end with meditation. And it's just such an uplifting time together. It's a webinar format, so it's private. People in the audience do not see each other. We do turn on the mics if you want to participate and ask follow-up questions to your private question. And I would say that after 22 Zoom channeling sessions, we got it down. It's going really well. It's been very exciting. We have people from all over the country and a couple of foreign countries who participated. So that's been wonderful. And the final thing I'd like to talk about today is something that I'm personally very involved in, that I love, and that is your paid membership site called The Circle, led by Joan Sabinski. And again, it was the pandemic that kicked us in the rear and got us going on that. We started that membership in April of 2019. Can you believe it's been that long already? And through some real technological learning on yours truly part, we made a website, and we are able to curate all the amazing things that are going on there. I could go on and on about the Circle, Jonee. You describe it in a nutshell.
Well, one of the things that I felt really strongly, even before the pandemic, was that we are at a time where we need to come together. We're at a time where a lot of people are confused. A lot of people are searching for things, and there's a lot of misinformation on the web. And I'd always taught classes. I had taught classes in my home. I've taught classes at junior colleges. I've taught classes on the radio. I had my own television program. So teaching classes has always been a natural for me. So what a better thing than to put together a forum of light workers, or what I like to call light warriors, who want to work together to help evolve themselves, help learn everything that they can about spirituality, about using their own abilities that we all have, untapping them, setting them free so that they can live the best life that they can be and help the world in whatever way they're meant to help the world. And so that's what we've done. It's a series of classes, guest lecturers. Every month, I do a little bit of a synopsis of the astrology that is happening that month. It's just a whole conglomeration of things. We have a private Facebook page where we carry on conversations where people can ask for healing. We have what are called healing pools, where we work with healing people and work with healing the planet. People have questions about things in their life. They can put it on the board and get feedback from one another. It's a community. It's a community of people who are working together to grow, be educated, work on being the best people that we can be.
I'm just going to add a couple things. If you're not on Facebook, we do have that private group, but we also have a forum that's connected with the website, and we have a lot of conversation going on there. And you also put a lot more detail for each month's astrology on a forum topic there as well. And then you have been so generous as to offer 4 times a year, we do an equinox channeling that's just for Circle members. And it's quite a bit different because it's more of a conversation. We don't have a lot of the formality. People are able to just jump in with their question. Typically, we don't ask personal questions. We do it at times, but we really try to focus on getting into some really deep spiritual topics. And those private channelings have been really, really profound, really wonderful. And the cost for that it's $14.99 a month. You can cancel at any time. I'm trying to convince Jonee that we need to raise our prices, so we may do that in January, but she's more about spreading the word than making a lot of money off of this. So Jonee, you have such a wonderful heart. You have amazing talents. I know it takes a lot of energy for you to do what you do, but I also know that it feeds you, and it's what you're here to do. So thank you for showing the rest of us our purposes as well. And I hope everyone will check out all the things that Jonee has to offer. Thanks, Jonee.
Thank you, Thea.